The mahogany-paneled conference room at Anderson and Brooks law offices felt suffocating as I sat among my grieving family members. My father's portrait loomed over us, his stern expression unchanged even in death. Before we begin, my brother Michael adjusted his Italian silk tie. I think we all know why we're here. Our stepmother Diana nodded, dabbing at dry eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. To honor Richard's wishes, of course. I remained silent, dressed in a simple black dress rather than the designer labels the others wore. My father's old business partner, Thomas, gave me a pitying look. "Still working at that little startup, Emma?" he asked with fake concern. "You know, there's always a place for you in the family business. Entry level, of course." My phone buzzed quietly in my purse. Another acquisition alert, but I ignored it. Let them think what they wanted. "She's too busy hunting for a rich husband," Michael smirked. "How's that going, sis? Found anyone willing to support your alternative lifestyle?" By alternative lifestyle, he meant my choice to leave the family's real estate empire and start my own tech company. Dad had called it my rebellious phase right up until his death. "Mr. Harrison will begin the reading shortly," Diana announced, purposefully shifting away from my chair. I'm sure Richard made his expectations clear. The executor, Mr. Harrison, entered with a thick folder. "Before we proceed, there are some preliminary matters." "Just get to the distribution," Michael interrupted. "We all know Dad wouldn't leave the business to someone who abandoned it." I checked my phone again. Final paperwork completed. Parker Technologies' acquisition of Anderson Properties confirmed. "Actually," I said quietly, "let's hear everything Mr. Harrison has to say. Sometimes the best revenge is letting others write the script of their own downfall." Mr. Harrison cleared his throat, adjusting his glasses. "Very well. Shall we begin?" My phone buzzed again, this time with a message from my CFO. "Board meeting in 30 minutes. Shall we announce the Anderson Properties acquisition?" I texted back a quick, "Wait for my signal," as Mr. Harrison began sorting through his papers. "First," he said, "we should address the matter of Anderson Properties' recent change in ownership." Michael waved dismissively. "Just a minor restructuring. Dad wanted to protect the company's assets." Diana nodded knowingly, though I'd caught her frantically searching for information about the company's status last week. She'd been too busy redecorating the mansion to notice the quiet corporate takeover happening right under her nose. "Emma," Thomas said condescendingly, "you might want to step out for this part. It's rather complex business matter." "Oh, I understand corporate acquisitions quite well," I replied mildly, thinking of the dozen companies I'd acquired in the past year alone. Each one carefully hidden behind shell corporations and holding companies, building toward this moment. My father's portrait seemed to glare down at me, remembering our last conversation 6 months ago. "A tech startup? That's your grand plan? The real estate empire I built isn't good enough for you." "No, Dad," I had said. "It's not about good enough. It's about building something of my own." He'd laughed then, that dismissive chuckle that had followed me since childhood. "Come back when you fail. There's always a desk job waiting." Now his portrait watched as Mr. Harrison pulled out the final document. The one that would reveal exactly who had failed and who had succeeded. "Regarding Anderson Properties," the executor began, "there's been a significant development." Michael's phone pinged with a news alert. His face went pale as he read the headline. "Sometimes the best foundations are built in silence, while others are too busy mocking the builder to notice." Mr. Harrison adjusted his glasses again. "Shall I continue?" I nodded, watching my family's last moments of smug superiority tick away. "Please do." "Anderson Properties," Mr. Harrison announced, "has been acquired by Parker Technologies, through its subsidiary Phoenix Holdings." The silence that followed was deafening. Michael's expensive pen clattered to the floor. "That's impossible," Diana sputtered. "Richard would never sell." "Richard didn't sell," Mr. Harrison interrupted. "The board did. After a very compelling offer from Parker Technologies' CEO. He turned to me. "Isn't that right, Ms. Parker?" The room froze. My father's portrait chose that exact moment to slip from its mounting, crashing to the floor with perfect dramatic timing. "What is he talking about?" Michael demanded, his face turning an interesting shade of red. "Emma doesn't, she can't." I pulled out my tablet, projecting the company's latest valuation onto the conference room wall. Parker Technologies $12.8 billion. Below it, a list of our recent acquisitions with Anderson Properties highlighted at the top. That little startup you've been mocking? I smiled. It's now the parent company of Dad's entire empire. Thomas grabbed for his phone, presumably to verify what he was hearing. But you were just playing with computers. Those computers developed the AI technology now used by every major real estate firm in the country, I explained. Including Anderson Properties. You've been paying me licensing fees for years. You just didn't know it. Diana's perfectly manicured hand trembled as she reached for her water glass. Richard never mentioned. Because he didn't know, I said. I used my mother's maiden name when I founded the company. Dad was too busy dismissing my career choices to notice who was revolutionizing his industry. Michael stood abruptly. This is a joke. Some sick prank. Check your email, I suggested. The board should have just announced the leadership changes. He did. His face went from red to white as he read. Effective immediately, Emma Parker appointed as CEO of Anderson Properties. You can't do this, he whispered. Actually, I can and I did. I stood smoothing my simple dress. And about that entry-level position you mentioned? I'm afraid those positions now report to my company. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat. There's more. I nodded for him to continue, watching my family's world crumble one revelation at a time. Sometimes the best response to being underestimated is to quietly become unstoppable. Regarding the will, Mr. Harrison continued, Mr. Anderson's final instructions were that the family business should go to the most capable heir. He paused, allowing himself a small smile. Given recent events, that part seems to have resolved itself. But I'm his son. Michael protested. His only son. And I'm his daughter who built a multi-billion-dollar company while you were busy taking 3-hour lunches on the company card, I replied, pulling up his expense reports on my tablet. Speaking of which, those lunches will need to be reviewed by our new compliance team. Diana stood, her designer dress rustling. Richard promised me a seat on the board? I finished. Yes, about that. The new board structure was approved this morning. You might want to check your inbox. She fumbled with her phone, her face crumpling as she read the notification of her removal. The mansion's keys and credit cards would be next. The house, she began, is company property, I confirmed. Though you're welcome to stay. The new corporate housing initiative for displaced workers includes very reasonable rent. Thomas, who'd been frantically making calls, finally looked up. None of my contacts are responding. They're probably in the all-hands meeting, I explained, checking my watch. Learning about the company's new direction from my executive team. My phone buzzed. The board meeting was starting. On the wall-mounted screen, headlines were rolling in. Tech prodigy acquires family firm. Parker Technologies expands empire. Anderson Properties undergoes historic leadership change. This isn't what Dad wanted, Michael tried one last time. Actually, Mr. Harrison interjected, there's a video message from your father recorded last month. The screen flickered to life, showing Dad in his hospital room. He looked tired but had that familiar stubborn set to his jaw. If you're watching this, he began, then Parker Technologies has successfully acquired Anderson Properties. Emma. He paused. You did exactly what you said you would. Built something bigger than I could imagine. While I was busy doubting you, you were busy proving me wrong. Michael sank back into his chair as Dad continued. The company goes to the most capable heir. That was always the plan. I just never expected. He chuckled weakly, never expected to be acquired by my own daughter. Well played, Emma. Well played. The video ended. Diana was openly crying now, probably calculating her reduced circumstances. Thomas had stopped trying to make calls. Michael stared blankly at his now useless company credit cards. The severance packages are generous, I said, standing. And yes, Michael, there are entry-level positions available. In the IT department. You'll need to learn to code. You can't expect us to actually work, Diana protested. No, I expect you to leave, I corrected. The severance is conditional on your resignation. Though you're welcome to reapply through normal channels. The intern program is quite competitive. My phone buzzed again. My helicopter was waiting on the roof to take me to the board meeting. Mr. Harrison will handle the remaining details. I have a company to run. As I reached the door, Michael found his voice. How long? He demanded. How long have you been planning this? I turned back, thinking of all the family dinners where they'd mocked my career, all the condescending comments about finding a rich husband, all the times they'd dismissed my success as luck or a phase. Remember 5 years ago when you told me to get a real job? I smiled. I did. I got several thousand of them, actually. They're called employees now. The helicopter's blades were audible through the windows, drowning out their protests. On my tablet, the company's stock was soaring as news of the acquisition spread. Oh, and Diana? I added. You'll need to clear out of the mansion by Friday. The new corporate training center opens Monday. Walking toward the helipad, I passed the wall of former CEOs, all men, all bearing the Anderson name. By tomorrow, they'd be replaced by a single portrait. Mine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting ahead, way ahead, while others are too busy looking down to see you rising. My phone lit up with a final message. Anderson Properties signage being updated to Parker Technologies worldwide. In the helicopter, rising above the city my father had built and I had transformed, I opened my laptop to begin the board meeting. On the screen, Michael's desperate email flashed. Please, it's my whole life. I typed a quick response. No, it's mine now. But the intern applications are open. Hope you found a rich sister. Below, the Anderson Properties logo was already being replaced on buildings across the skyline. Tomorrow, the real changes would begin, transforming the old boys club into a merit-based technology powerhouse. Dad's portrait would be reinstalled in the lobby, but with a new caption. Founded by Richard Anderson. Revolutionized by Emma Parker. Sometimes the best way to honor a legacy is to completely reinvent it. And sometimes the richest revenge is simply succeeding beyond anyone's wildest doubts. The helicopter banked toward Parker Technologies headquarters, where my real family, the thousands of employees who'd helped build this empire, waited to begin our next chapter. After all, the best gold digger isn't the one who marries into wealth. It's the one who builds her own mine.